Okay, so I thought I'd do this video tutorial on rendering in general. Um, I saw this video done by Lightwave 2025, and I wanted to just cover a few topics related to rendering in general, and if you are rendering any type of vehicle or scene similar to this. So there are a few things you want to keep in mind if you are looking to do cinematic renders and hyper realistic renders inside of your 3D software to a certain degree, to a certain level of quality and crispness. Okay, so before you even start rendering, the first thing you need to think about is the scene environment. Okay, you need to think about the lighting, the atmosphere, the mood. You also need to think about the cinematography, as well as the color saturation and the overall tone of the final render output. Okay, and the look and feel that you are going for in terms of your finished render. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is you need to focus on the camera and plan the camera shots. Okay, you have to plan the camera angle, the perspective. It's highly important for you to get that perfect shot. Okay, and the other thing is you also need to look at again, it's very important that the background, the back plates and so on um, is what you are going for. Okay, it's really important. I can't stress this enough. That is one of the main things that can make or break a render. And so with that being said, all those factors contribute to a realistic scene immersion when you're doing renders. So that basically differentiates your render from being a fake 3D render that any person watching YouTube would be able to tell that your render was your video animation or your upload was actually rendered. There's a really fine line between realism and being able to tell that something has been rendered, and you want to lean more closer to the side where your render is closer to real world as possible. Okay, so with that being said, we are now going to look at the scene here. This is done in Lightwave 2015, and you can do it in any type of software that you're using, Blender, Maya, VScale Max. But again, we're just going to cover a few points here. I'm not going to go too in depth into it, but you will notice that the shadow around the car is quite closely matching the other shadows of the other cars in the parking lot. Okay, so it goes from a lighter edge there where the street pole lighting is hitting the rear of the Viper ACR, and you can see that the shadow has a slight tone of light at that end. And as you can see towards the front of the car, on the front left, we have the darker shadows along this side, same as the cars parked on the left hand side. Okay, so for the Lightwave, people who are wondering what the render settings are, we are just going to do this is the standard render settings. So those are the render settings that I'm using for lighting the scene. And those are the ray settings. And these are the camera settings. Now you'll also notice that the scene has been perspective matched. So using the matching perspective tool, we have matched the car to fit inside the scene quite nicely. We are running in draft mode VPR, and I'm just going to turn down the reflection on the glass surface a bit more. Actually, let's leave that how it was, and then let's do just do less transparency and drop that a bit more. Yeah, so that actually let's see that. Okay, so now we're going to look at the lights that we are using in the scene. And if I switch over to perspective mode and go into wireframe and just pan out, you'll see that we are using 2-point lights for the headlights for the car, and we are using an end-gun light for the scene to give some type of full light. And so let's come back to the camera and let's go back here. And now we're going to look at the lens, the headlight settings. Okay. So for the right hand headlight, these are the settings for the light. It's set to inverse distance 2, 907 millimeters, and we have shadows ray traced. And under here we just have it on diffuse. Lens flare options will be like follows, and you can click fade with distance if you want to go for that sort of look. Okay, but just depends the look that you are going for. So let's just do a shot with that setting on. And then let us just come back here. that back on. And so the settings for the light on the left hand side is as follows. And here you want to make sure that fade behind objects is set to on. And yeah, so those are the settings for that. Anamorphic streaks, just to give it a small little touch of finesse. And so now with regards to the surfacing of the car and so on, I don't think there's anything special to it. And before we get to the car surface, this is the backdrop settings. It's just using a wallpaper downloaded off of Google, set to spherical image map on a Z, because we are front facing camera, and then we are using the same image in the background for composition. And so let's go back down to the car now. So for the car surface, we are just using specular gloss and some type of reflection gradient. On the diffuse side, we are running a gradient in the diffuse channel for those settings. And shaders, we have a Gmo. Environment, ray trace and backdrop. And yeah, and so you also want to make sure that your car is quite a high poly count car to get that type of realism and depth in your render. And I have also put a touch of tire polish. How you want to add tire polish is give it a little bit of reflection and some type of low level reflection blurring to give it that tire polish feel. And yeah, that's that. And so pretty much that's what makes up this render shot. So hope you guys liked this quick video, and I will catch you on the follow-up to this tutorial where we will try to simulate the same lighting without using what you call it, ray traced, without using radiosity or GI. Right, so I will catch you guys on the next video. And let's just give this a quick render. Yeah, so that looks pretty good to me in the linear color space. And so, yep, I will catch you guys on the next one.